everyone, Mitch coming in from the Command Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, we get a look in what the Magic community might be thinking about a topic that has been kind of bouncing around for quite some time now. Let's jump into it. So Mark Rosewater, the head designer at Wizards, better known at Maro, was asked this question. Once a year, like how it used to be, WotC should release 4 or 5 Commander decks, but the draw of these is that they're specifically tied to older sets that had no precons. This way, you can tap into older themes and mechanics and give love to these sets of old. For instance, one year you could have decks for OGW Alliance support, SOM Artifacts, Metalcraft, CSP now Snow Matters, and PLS Colors Matters. Now that there is less product for MTG IP, I think this could be a cool way to give players more. And then Maro responded, I can pass this idea along. This taps into a question that R&D has been wrestling with. So this is something that R&D has been discussing. How do you feel about the current number of Commander decks made by Wizards? And then Maro put out a poll. And actually, before I show you the results of that poll, because I did vote in it, although I removed my result, and I'll discuss my result here in a little bit, so you're just not reacting to that first. So you actually just look at the numbers first. Just think, okay, what do you think the Commander community, or the Magic community, I should say, in general, would say about, okay, do they want a lot more? Do they want some more? Do they think it's the right amount? Do they want a little less or a lot less? What do you think? All right, and maybe comment below with that. But now let's jump into the actual numbers. Here we go. They might surprise you. They surprised me. So when it comes to the actual numbers, overwhelmingly, I'm talking about 70+% in total said either making a few less or many less. So basically, less. Only 30% of people thought that, yeah, we're at the right amount or there should be more. I mean, only 3% said many more, which I don't know how you would get many more Commander decks right now. We already have an absurd amount. I don't even know how many from last year, but it seems like at least with every set, there's at the very least 2, most of the time like 4, and sometimes even 5. So yeah, we have a lot, plus like all like the off ones as well. So yeah, many more, and then a few more. That's only 11% in total that think that, yeah, we need more of these. So that's what, like 1 out of every 10 Magic players out there is like, yeah, we need more precons. Only 17% say it's at the perfect amount. Again, 30% essentially around in total say, yeah, we're either at the amount or we should be having more. But the majority, the vast majority of Magic players out there that responded to this poll, and I believe, actually, let's see the numbers real quick, over 1,000 votes. So again, this isn't always, again, like some of these things are posted on Reddit, obviously, and it's a bit more engaged of a community. So it's not obviously all encompassing of every Magic player out there. I'm not trying to say that. But yeah, when it comes to this poll and this size, it's pretty decent. And overwhelmingly, people are like, no, you're doing a bit too much. And yeah, again, there's still at this time some time left on the poll. It might not be by the time this episode comes up, but still, being able to say, okay, and give Maro some feedback is a great thing on this because, again, the R&D community, the R&D, R&D has been actually talking about this. So hopefully they maybe take some community feedback and make some potential changes. Because I do think that, again, back in the days where, again, like the Commander Precons would come out once a year, it was kind of like Christmas in a way, right? Like, it's all right. Oh my gosh, so exciting to see like the one time a year we get these things specifically for Commander players, and it was really special. And you get to, again, yeah, explore some older characters or some older things or some older mechanics essentially versus having to be tied to whatever set they are coming out with. So I do like that post and I do like that thought behind it. We shall see if Wizards makes any moves. Now, I wouldn't expect anything anytime soon because, again, when it comes to Wizards making adjustments, they're doing things like 2 or 3 years down the road, essentially, right, when it comes to design. So they probably already have things made for the next couple of years. That being said, after that, yeah, they could potentially make some designs. They could make some changes where they are maybe tearing down the amount that they're putting out each year for the precons. And then also maybe, again, making them kind of more special where it's, okay, not just necessarily tied to a set, but actually, again, able to explore old themes and stuff like that as well. It's really interesting, and actually kind of along those lines, let's take a look at another little article real quick, because apparently MTG Spider-Man confirmed to have no Commander decks at all. So maybe this is something that, again, that they are playing with, where you kind of would think that they would have that. I mean, again, the Final Fantasy precons were already basically, like, shown off, right? Like, okay, we've got Final Fantasy precons, right, essentially, and I think starter decks, too. That being said, like, yeah, like, when it comes to, like, Lord of the Rings, they have those, too, as well. You think that, like, a Universes Beyond that they would probably do that. I mean, we've already had, what, like, Warhammer and all the other ones as well, but Fallout, I think, too, right? But yeah, we've had so many precons for these Universes Beyond sets. You think that that would be what they're doing, but maybe they are already making adjustments. Maybe they already have gotten some feedback, already taken some feedback. And let's read this really quick just to see where this came from. In a time where half Magic Gathering sets are branching out to different worlds, it takes a lot to shock MTG fans. That said, some remarks made by Hasbro president Chris Cox revealed something bizarre. According to a question answered at Hasbro's 2024 Q4 earnings call, it appears that the Spider-Man Universe Beyond set will have no pre-constructed commander decks, which again, just might be a bit surprising based on, hey, we're getting this many from this and this many from this. Tarkir's got 5. It's like, okay, we got a ton of things coming out. Commander-less Spider-Man. Revealed after answering a question this past Thursday, 2 shocking details were announced by Hasbro CEO Chris Cox. The first was that early Final Fantasy pre-orders for bundles sold out in an hour, which is absurd. While hour-long sales aren't unusual thing in the MTG world, this currently suggests that Final Fantasy will be the best-selling MTG set ever. For reference, it took a week for the same Lord of the Rings pre-orders to sell out, which is kind of crazy, in comparison. It's too early to say for sure, but this certainly reveals a monstrous demand for MTG Final Fantasy. Chris Cox has full confidence that MTG and Final Fantasy will perform well. He also thinks that MTG Spider-Man will do the same, but a major difference was highlighted between the two products. This is what Chris Cox had to say. And then Spider-Man, we feel that will do well. Now, I think the important thing to note on Spider-Man is that it's a little bit of a different complexion of a set in terms of what's incorporated into it. Final Fantasy and Lord of the Rings had commander decks, which usually constitute a fairly big hunk of a set's total volume. Spider-Man will be standard-only cards. There won't be any kind of pre-con decks, so that will make it a bit smaller. So literally the entire set, again, is going to be specifically for standard, which, again, is a weird day and age that we're in right now. But still, that's just kind of what it is at this point. But yeah, not having any pre-con specific cards or, commander specific cards for it is interesting again, especially kind of in contrast to, was it last year or 2 years ago when we had Modern Horizons 3, which had then pre-con decks associated with them that were just commander legal. So, yeah, kind of weird. Regardless, it is interesting to see that. So, yeah, this is a very unusual decision for most MTG sets. For reference, MTG Foundation Assassin's Creed were the only non-reprint in MTG sets recently to exclude commander pre-cons from their product lineup. Considering that a massive Party Universe Beyond sets is to appeal to fans from other circles, it's rather shocking for Spider-Man to follow suit. Commander is the most popular format for Magic the Gathering, and not having an easy way for Spider-Man fans to get in the format feels like a misstep. I mean, in some ways, sure. Since it's just a statement from Chris Cox, it's difficult to sort out all the corner case scenarios. All we know is that there will be no Commander product, the MTG Spider-Man product. Which is very interesting, again, that literally, going forward, you kind of expect Wizards to just be chucking Commander into everything because, again, Commander is still so popular, and that's what they have been doing. I mean, since, 2020, the year of Commander, it just seems like everything is non-stop Commander. Every set has all these Commander things. Everything has focus things for Commander. We've got an absurd amount of legendary creatures. It's just crazy. But yeah, being able to maybe potentially take that feedback from the community, potentially maybe they already are doing that and already have been hearing that and already are thinking about making adjustments and tuning things down because, again, that percentage is pretty crazy. Again, 70% of players out there that responded to this said 70% said less. Please, less. Either a few less or many less. I mean, almost 30% said many less. Hey, stop with it. Okay, that being said, yeah, again, most out there are we're not the right amount, we need less. The very few people out there said more, and very few people out there said the perfect amount. So yeah, it is kind of interesting to see, again, if you just take a look on Scryfall, last year, okay, 2024, not reprint cards, so no reprint cards, legal in Commander, not legal in Standard, there are 842 cards specifically that are legal outside of Standard. Now, obviously, these things, as you can see, include Modern Horizons cards, things for Modern. That being said, obviously, for Commander as well, and in the design space of Commander, obviously. But yeah, pre-con cards, all the cards from Modern Horizons, we have, so many different cards that are created specifically, in some ways, for Commander and outside of Standard. Will we see an adjustment where maybe they start toning things down and they don't have so many cards coming out each year? I think last year we had, over 2,000 cards come out in the year, which is at new cards, not reprints, which is absolutely crazy. Is that pace going to slow down? And again, is the over hyper focus on Commander going to slow down as well? Because it seems like that's what fans maybe are asking for, actually, and maybe a toned down approach where we don't have 20 plus precons each year or whatever it is, down to, again, back to 4 or 5 a year, that you can kind of get really excited about when it comes to a kind of Christmas type approach where you're not having Christmas every day and it becomes not special, essentially. Yeah, it is interesting. So yeah, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on all of this, and yeah, make sure you check out that poll for the finalized results as well to see where those end up to. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Make sure you comment below with your thoughts on this one. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.